What is up, YouTube? This is T1 coming at you with another video, and today I'm going to be doing another Rob Zombie movie. Yeah, while the last film I reviewed of his, 31, was one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever seen and probably could have been a career ender, it is Halloween, and I do associate his filmography with this holiday somewhat. And as I've said, the man is at least interesting. With his next film, today's topic, Three from Hell, he revisited the only well that seemed to net him genuine positivity on a widespread scale, The Fireflies. Yes, while rough around the edges, the previous two films about the Firefly family have developed a strong cult following and become Halloween staples for many people over the years. Expanding House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects with a third installment probably sounded like a good idea to someone. And look, fair's fair. If you can overlook the downright lazy explanation for how all these characters survived the Bonnie and Clyde flavored shootout at the end of the last movie, the first half of Three from Hell is actually pretty great. While none of the titular three have ever been huge in the whole depth department, taking a trio of freewheeling psychos whose defining trait has always been a chaotic 60s fuck the man kind of freedom and put them through 10 years in prison, I mean, that's a good hook. What does a decade behind bars do to people like Otis and Baby? And to my surprise, the answer is almost as interesting as the question. There are flaws, one of them being that the late Sid Haig as Captain Spaulding, whose screen time is reduced to a single scene due to his failing health at the time, is sorely missed. But even if I think Haig is one of the only actors to ever truly turn Rob Zombie dialogue into something that sounds genuine, I could think of two others, and luckily they're both on hand here. Starting with Bill Moseley, who's always a treat when he turns up in low rent trash fests like this. It's like seeing Kate Winslet in a period piece or De Niro in a gangster movie. You just know they're in their element. And there is something charming about Otis. You can see why he draws so many people into his strange, cult like group, but when he needs to be, Mosley is also great at being unhinged and terrifying. And pairing him with one of the only other genuine talents trapped in Rob Zombie films, Richard Brake, was a great decision. Brake's character isn't given much backstory or development, but you can tell the guy is having a blast, and Foxy is a worthy replacement for Spaulding. I also do want to mention Jeff Daniel Phillips, who I thought was one of the weakest links in 31. He's solid as the corrupt Warden Harper. This is something this franchise has excelled at from the jump, taking someone who is clearly an insufferable piece of shit and still making you feel fear for them. Harper's a bad dude, we know that when we first meet him, but when the three make him their target, it's hard not to tense up knowing what's coming. And there are moments here where Zombie, despite all his shortcomings as a filmmaker, crafts a truly inspired sequence. The bit with Clint Howard's clown character is straight up incredible. And while I have some not so nice things to say about her later, Sherry Moon Zombie has decent chemistry with Dee Wallace, and their relationship is kind of interesting. So that's the good. The first hour of Three from Hell is a macabre, well crafted scare fest that feels like it could almost be Rob Zombie's opus. And that's the problem. The first hour of Three from Hell is a complete movie. And when it ends, the crushing realization that there's still another hour of film left with nothing much happening hits you like a ton of bricks. After the final ride off in the sunset, the three decide to head for Mexico and just kind of party for 40 minutes. It eventually morphs into a plot with a character with a tie to the previous movie seeking them out for revenge, but beyond that, jack shit is going on. I mean, what happened? It's like Rob Zombie was Wile E. Coyote and he suddenly ran out of road, plummeting just as he realized he wasn't on anything solid. You might think I'm exaggerating, but watch the movie. Nothing fucking happens for the second hour. It's just these honestly pretty annoying characters talking about old movies and killing people. It reminds me of that film I covered a few months ago, The Land That Time Forgot, where the first half is this well crafted, tense wartime thriller, and then it devolves into a lame puppet show in the entire second part of the movie. And look, she's in all of his movies, and she's never seemed to get a good grasp on what acting is. Sherry Moon Zombie is terrible in this. I hate picking on someone specifically like this, but genuinely, I didn't buy a single line she said. And look, the dialogue is rough. Rob Zombie's dialogue always is, but she just doesn't sell it. There's a pretty lengthy gunfight at the end of the movie, but Zombie, as a director, while he has a very specific, identifiable style, he has a lot of weaknesses, and one of them is directing action. See, he's not big on the whole letting you know what the fuck is going on thing. It's hard to tell what's happening at any given point, and because of that, a lengthy slow motion action sequence is about as far from his skill set as you can get. Look, you were so close, Rob. The first half of Three from Hell is really very good and almost makes the whole thing worth watching. But it completely runs out of steam at the 55-minute mark, and because of that, I can't truly recommend it. I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. This is T Quentin 1, signing out.